When you dedicate time to building a complex custom AI tool, say, a specialized data scraper, it's going to have flaws.
It always breaks down.
Mm.
But the real shift here is how we approach failure. The dilemma is, how do you fix messy data, map outputs, and debug logic without writing a single line of code?
And the core insight from the sources we looked at is that debugging is now simply a matter of conversation. You just describe the error to the AI, and it updates its own logic.
Welcome to the deep dive. If part 1 was about getting a working prototype, this is part 2. We're taking that idea and turning it into a polished, production-ready tool that can handle real-world complexity.
Our mission today is to really analyze the 5 key troubleshooting steps from the source material. We're going to look at how conversational prompts in AI Studio, plus some workflow refinement in n8n, can eliminate traditional debugging.
Yeah, moving from prototype to reliable automation. Let's get into it.
So in the first build, we confirmed the raw signal was received by n8n. That part worked. But the data itself is messy. It's just a big block of text.
Right. And now the challenge is organization. How do you make sure specific data points land in the right spreadsheet columns?
This is the first big hurdle.
It is. This is challenge 1. Mapping the webhook data to your sheets. When that raw payload arrives, it's just this undifferentiated mass of information. We need to define exactly which piece goes where.
So if I have a column named date in my Google Sheet, I need to tell the system precisely which incoming field should map to it.
Precisely. You're inside the n8n Google Sheets node, and on the left, you see all the raw input fields, maybe 20 of them, like generated date or company name.
Okay.
And on the right are your spreadsheet columns.
That sounds incredibly tedious if there are 20 or more fields. Is it a drag and drop thing for every single one?
It is. It's a one-time setup that needs that manual alignment. You drag, say, search city from the input, and you map it to the city column on the output side.
So if the initial data is flowing correctly, what's that critical step to ensure it lands in the right place?
It's all about field mapping. That ensures the raw inputs correctly align with the spreadsheet columns.
Okay, so that alignment is the first step toward production. You're forcing the unstructured AI output to fit into your structured database.
You have to make the data talk to the database. Exactly.
This is where things get really interesting. Once that mapping is done, we immediately hit a failure. Challenge 2, missing social media data. The AI just didn't do a perfect scrape. LinkedIn and Facebook fields were empty.
A perfect example of what developers call prompt drift.
Prompt drift.
Yeah, it's when the AI kind of forgets or deviates from a critical instruction that was buried in that original setup.
And I'll admit, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself. I often forget the small details in my own instructions that can throw an entire search off.
We all do. So how do we fix it? Not with code. You go right back to the AI Studio chat interface. The user just described the problem in plain English.
What was the actual fix prompt?
It was conversational, but really direct. Something like, great, I love it, but we don't have all the data. We are missing social media. Please make the AI agent better. Also use Google Search and Google Maps properly.
But wait a minute, telling an AI to use Google Maps properly, isn't that just replacing complex code with, a different kind of vague instruction?
That's the key difference. You aren't coding the search path yourself. You're asking the AI to refine its own internal logic. The AI translates that human instruction into a more accurate search sequence, and it worked. It instantly started populating those missing fields.
Okay, that is powerful. Now, challenge 3, the timing issue. The app was sending a webhook call for every single lead, which is just inefficient, terrible for performance.
Oh, definitely bad practice. And the fix, again, was a simple conversational prompt. Help me make a fix. When the data will be sent to the webhook, I want all of it to be sent in one single batch, not one by one.
And just that one sentence changed the entire structure of the AI's output.
Yep. The AI understood, and it restructured its output into a single clean payload. It was an array containing all the scraped leads delivered at once.
So how do you efficiently correct a faulty data retrieval process?
You just refine the prompt in chat. That compels the AI to improve its internal search logic.
So now we have this high-quality batch of data arriving cleanly, but that creates challenge 4. The data is now one big array. How does n8n split that up into individual rows for Google Sheets?
Right. The sheet needs 5 separate records, not one giant chunk of text.
Exactly.
This is where you restructure the workflow. The solution is adding a dedicated step, a split-out node. right after the webhook in an n8n.
A split-out node. I love how literal that is.
It is. It takes that bundled batch of, say, 5 leads and splits them into 5 distinct sequential items. You can kind of think of it like stacking Lego blocks of data.
But does adding another node slow things down? Is there a hidden cost here?
It adds negligible processing time, but it's absolutely essential. The Google Sheets node can only write 1 row at a time, so the split-out node makes sure it runs 5 times, once for each lead. It makes the whole thing modular.
Okay, so moving to challenge 5. Adding advanced features. Can we do more than just fix bugs with conversation?
Absolutely. The source shows adding a lead count selector. The prompt was just, add another form input, lead count. I want to be able to select between 10, 20, 30, up to 100 leads to be scraped.
So the user just described the UI they wanted, and the interface and the logic updated on its own.
Instantly. The AI Studio added the drop-down menu with the exact options specified. It shows you can iterate on front-end design, features, and back-end logic, all conversationally.
So how do you handle a bundled payload of multiple leads when updating a spreadsheet?
A split-out node is required to process the batch into separate actionable items.
This all defines a really powerful new iteration pattern, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
test, identify, describe the fix in plain English, the AI updates, and then you test again.
That conversational refinement is the central idea. It replaces that long, painful debug cycle with just immediate iteration. And this AI Studio plus n8n stack is a universal framework. The lead scraper is just one example.
Let's talk about those other applications. If I'm not scraping leads, what else could I build with this?
Okay, think about a content creation suite. The AI app generates a draft blog post, maybe 3 social media snippets, and a prompt for a graphic.
And AN handles the distribution.
Exactly. n8n posts the draft to WordPress, schedules the snippets in Buffer, and saves the assets to Google Drive. The AI creates, n8n distributes.
What about for internal stuff like customer service?
You could build a customer support analyzer. The AI app monitors tickets, extracts the sentiment, suggests a reply. Then the n8n side updates your CRM. If a ticket says urgent, n8n sends a Slack alert and changes its status to critical.
It connects the intelligence to the actual operations?
It does. So is this iterative process limited to data scraping alone?
It sounds like no.
No, this pattern functions as a universal framework for building any custom automation tool.
Now that the app works, where does it live? The sources mentioned some surprisingly accessible deployment options.
You've got 3 clear paths. First is just personal use, keeping it in your AI Studio account. Second is team sharing. You just share the app's URL with your colleagues.
And the third option is properly public.
Yeah, public deployment. This is where you deploy to Google Cloud with a custom domain. People are actually launching these as standalone web apps, even getting them to rank in search engines without ever hiring a developer for the backend.
Okay, let's get into some pro tips. Even if we're just chatting with an AI, what's the one habit we have to maintain?
Prompt engineering still matters. The AI is a powerful tool, but you have to be a specific director. Don't just say send the data. Say send the data as a single JSON array.
And what about testing?
Test incrementally. Do not write a 5-page prompt trying to define everything at once. That's just guaranteed to fail.
Right.
Start simple. Verify the input form works, then add the webhook. Test that. Build and test one feature before adding the next.
The sources also mentioned using the chat for small refinements.
Absolutely. The chat is for quick UI tweaks like make that button blue.
Yeah.
And your safety net, tip 4, is the n8n executions panel.
Can you explain what that panel actually shows us?
It is your debugging truth. It's where you can visually see the raw data moving between each step, so you can pinpoint the exact spot where things failed.
So if I want to avoid massive failures, what is the best building technique?
Build and test incrementally, verifying one small feature before adding the next.
We have to address the cost. Building custom tools is usually expensive, but this whole picture seems surprisingly affordable.
The free tiers are phenomenal. Google AI Studio gives you a generous free API quota, and n8n Cloud offers, get this, 20,000 workflow executions every month for free.
20,000 executions a month. That's a staggering amount of automation for $0.
Whoa! I mean, imagine scaling a system efficiently, entirely on free tiers for all your initial testing and even moderate personal use. It really democratizes this for everyone.
So when do you actually start paying?
When you hit high volume. Exceeding Google's API quotas, or needing more than those 20,000 executions on n8n, their plans start around $20 a month. And of course, hosting on Google Cloud if you deploy publicly.
Let's talk about the pitfalls. Besides overprompting, what other traps did the sources highlight?
Skipping the data test. That's a fatal error. You have to test that webhook connection first to make sure data is actually arriving. And another one is ignoring error handling. Tell the AI what to show if a search fails, like no leads found, try different keywords.
And there was a practical tip about the destination, Google Sheets itself.
Yes, keep your Google Sheets simple. Data connectors in general get really confused by complex formatting, merged cells, frozen rows. Clean data needs a clean destination.
So besides being specific in prompts, what helps ensure n8n runs smoothly?
Keep your Google Sheets clean. Avoid complex formatting that could confuse the data connector.
So we've established the live build wasn't perfect. It had stumbles, data mapping errors, timing issues.
And that's the best news. The key takeaway is that every single one of those problems was solved purely through conversation. No debugging Python, no hunting for syntax errors.
The power is in that loop. See the problem, describe the fix in English, and the AI handles the rest. It's just dramatically faster.
This stack really is a fundamentally different, more powerful way to build. You don't need expensive SaaS subscriptions or to compromise on features anymore.
You just need a clear idea and the language to define it. A functional, powerful lead scraper was built live, including all these fixes in under 30 minutes.
The true power here is that conversational iteration. It transforms complex bugs into simple chat requests, and it makes sophisticated automation accessible to anyone.
So the sources leave us with a thought. What will you build in your next 28 minutes? Considering this flexibility, a content suite, a support analyzer, what is the most complex business workflow that could realistically be managed entirely by just talking to an AI agent?
Yeah, think about that one problem you've been putting off because it seemed too complex to code. Maybe now it's just a conversation away from being solved.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.